If you think a worn-out coin is worthless, think again. Some damaged Roosevelt dime coins have shocked collectors by selling for thousands, even millions of dollars. Money bag. In this video, we're revealing how certain rare errors, hidden details, and unique mint mistakes can turn an ordinary-looking, bad-condition dime into a life-changing treasure. Don't miss this. Your pocket change might be worth a fortune. First up, the Roosevelt dime, 2003p, is a modern United States 10-cent coin that was produced in very large numbers at the historic Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the small but important P mint mark located near the date on the obverse side, and this coin continues the Roosevelt dime series that began in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II and his role in supporting the March of Dimes campaign made him a fitting figure to be permanently featured on American coinage, and the 2003p issue specifically as part of the post-1965 clad coinage era, meaning it is made from a layered composition consisting of a pure copper core bonded between outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, which gives the coin its familiar silver-like color without containing any actual silver, a detail that is especially important for collectors and beginners to understand because many people mistakenly assume all older-looking U.S. coins have silver value when in fact only pre-1965 dimes do. And when discussing a 2003p Roosevelt dime in bad condition, we are referring to a coin that has spent a long time in active circulation and has been exposed to repeated handling, environmental effects, and mechanical wear, resulting in a surface that often appears dull, scratched, dirty, and worn down, with significant loss of detail especially on the high points of the design such as Roosevelt's hair, ear, and cheek, which may appear smooth or flattened, while the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust may be partially faded or less sharp, and the reverse side of the coin, which features a central torch symbolizing liberty flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength along with the inscriptions, United States of America, and one dime, may also show similar signs of wear with reduced clarity and possible rim damage, and because the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of these dimes in 2003, the coin is extremely common and widely available even today, making it highly unlikely to have any significant collector value in worn or damaged condition, and in most cases such a coin will only be worth its face value of 10 cents, which converts to a small amount in local currency, and is typically not sought after by serious collectors unless it displays some unusual or rare minting error. And while the vast majority of 2003p dimes are ordinary, there is always a small possibility that a particular coin could feature an interesting error such as a double die, off-center strike, die crack, clipped planchet, or missing clad layer, which are production anomalies that can sometimes increase the coin's desirability and value even if it is otherwise worn, and in such situations collectors may consider having the coin examined or graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, although it is generally not cost-effective to submit a coin in poor condition unless a clear and valuable error is visible, and one of the most important rules in coin collecting is to never clean a coin, especially one already in bad condition, because cleaning can damage the surface, remove natural toning, and significantly reduce any potential collector interest, so it is always better to leave the coin as it is and store it in a safe, dry place such as a coin holder or album to prevent further deterioration. And even though the 2003p Roosevelt dime in bad condition does not hold significant monetary value, it still plays an important role as an educational tool for understanding how coins are produced, how they wear over time, and how factors like condition, rarity, and demand determine value in the world of numismatics, and it also serves as a small but meaningful reminder of American history through its connection to Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose legacy continues to be honored in everyday currency, making the coin not just a simple piece of metal but a representation of history, economics, and daily life, and for beginners especially, Studying such common coins can provide valuable experience in identifying mint marks, grading conditions, and recognizing potential errors, all of which are essential skills for building knowledge and confidence in the hobby of coin collecting. And although it may seem like an ordinary and low-value item at first glance, the 2003 P. Roosevelt dime still offers insight into the broader story of modern coinage, mass production, and the journey of money through circulation, illustrating how even the most common coins can carry layers of information and significance when examined closely over time. Next up, the 1992 P. Roosevelt dime is a modern United States coin that, even in bad condition, carries historical, economic, and collector significance. It belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, which was first introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was widely respected not only for leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II, but also for his efforts in founding organizations that fought diseases like polio. Because of this legacy, his portrait has remained on the dime for decades, including the 1992 issue. The P. Mint mark on the 1992 dime indicates that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most important coin-producing facilities in the United States. By 1992, the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins in extremely large quantities for everyday circulation. This means that the 1992 P dime is not rare in terms of mintage numbers. In fact, hundreds of millions of these coins were produced, making them very common in circulation at the time and even today in coin collections or loose change. In terms of composition, the 1992 P. Roosevelt dime is made of a copper-nickel clad. Specifically, it consists of a pure copper core with outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been standard for dimes since 1965, when the United States stopped producing dimes with silver due to rising metal costs. Therefore, unlike older silver dimes, the 1992 P dime does not have intrinsic silver value, which affects its overall worth, especially in poor condition. When discussing a bad condition coin, collectors usually refer to coins that are heavily worn, scratched, damaged, or corroded. A 1992 P. Roosevelt dime in bad condition may show faded details on Roosevelt's face, worn lettering, and a smooth or flattened surface. The edges may also be damaged or discolored, and the coin could have marks from circulation, such as dents or stains. In numismatic grading terms, such a coin might fall into categories like good G, very good, VG, or even lower if severely damaged. The value of a 1992 P dime in bad condition is generally very low. Most often, it is worth only its face value, which is 10 cents. Because it is so common and lacks precious metal content, collectors typically do not pay extra for circulated examples unless there is something unusual about the coin. However, there are rare exceptions where even a common coin like the 1992 P dime can become valuable. These exceptions include mint errors, unusual variations, or coins in exceptionally high-grade uncirculated condition. Mint errors are one of the most interesting aspects of coin collecting. If a 1992 P. Roosevelt dime has a noticeable error, such as a double strike, off-center strike, missing clad layer, or die crack, it could be worth significantly more than face value, even if the coin is in otherwise poor condition. Error coins are unique and attract collectors who specialize in unusual minting mistakes. Therefore, it is always important to examine a coin carefully before dismissing it as worthless. Another factor that can influence value is demand within the collector market. While the 1992 P dime is not rare, some collectors aim to complete full date and mintmark sets of Roosevelt dimes. In such cases, even circulated coins may be collected, though they are typically valued very modestly. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, are far more desirable and can sell for a few dollars or more depending on their condition and certification. The design of the 1992 P. Roosevelt dime remains consistent with earlier issues. The obverse front features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, along with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year, 1992. The reverse back displays a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch peace and an oak branch strength and independence. These symbols reflect American values and have remained unchanged for decades, making the design instantly recognizable. Even in bad condition, coins like the 1992 P dime hold educational and historical value. They represent everyday currency used by millions of people and provide insight into the economic system of the time. Coins also tell stories about manufacturing processes, changes in metal composition, and the evolution of design standards. For beginners in coin collecting, examining circulated coins is often the first step in learning about grading, identification, and valuation. Storage and preservation are also important considerations. If you have a 1992 P dime in poor condition, keeping it in a dry, safe place can prevent further deterioration. While it may not be highly valuable, proper storage ensures that the coin remains intact and could still be used for study or collection purposes. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged, as it can damage the surface and reduce any potential value. In conclusion, the 1992 P. Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a very common coin with minimal monetary value, typically worth only its face value of 10 cents. However, it still carries historical significance due to its association with Franklin D. Roosevelt and its place in the long-running dime series. While most examples are not valuable, collectors should always check for rare errors or unusual features that could increase a coin's worth. Even a simple, worn coin can serve as a gateway into the fascinating world of numismatics, where history, art, and economics come together in small but meaningful ways. Next up, the 1967 Roosevelt dime is a fascinating piece of United States coinage history, even when found in bad or heavily worn condition. This coin belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of the most influential leaders in American history. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his personal battle with polio, made him a symbol of resilience and strength. His connection to the March of Dimes charity further cemented his legacy on the 10-cent coin, making every Roosevelt dime, including the 1967 issue, a tribute to his enduring impact. The year 1967 is particularly important in U.S. coin history because it falls within a unique period when mint marks were intentionally removed from coins. From 1965 to 1967, the United States Mint eliminated mint marks to discourage coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. As a result, the 1967 Roosevelt dime does not carry a, P, D, or S mint mark, even though it was produced at multiple mint facilities. This detail can sometimes confuse new collectors, but it is a normal and expected feature of coins from that specific era. In terms of composition, the 1967 Roosevelt dime is made from a copper-nickel clad structure. This means the coin has a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition was introduced in 1965, replacing the earlier 90% silver dimes. Therefore, unlike Roosevelt dimes minted before 1965, the 1967 dime does not contain any silver, which significantly affects its intrinsic and collector value, especially when the coin is in bad condition. A 1967 Roosevelt dime in bad condition typically shows extensive signs of wear from circulation. The portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse may appear flat or lacking detail, with hairlines and facial features worn down over time. The inscriptions, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date, 1967, may be partially faded or difficult to read. On the reverse side, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch design elements may also appear weak or smoothed out. The edges might be nicked or damaged, and the coin's surface could show scratches, discoloration, or even corrosion depending on how it was stored or used. In the coin grading system, such a worn coin would likely fall into categories such as good G, very good VG, or possibly fair F if the wear is severe. These grades indicate that while the coin is still identifiable, much of the original detail has been lost. Coins in these lower grades are very common and typically do not carry significant premium value unless they possess unusual characteristics. The market value of a 1967 Roosevelt dime in bad condition is usually limited to its face value of 10 cents. Because it is a clad coin with no silver content and was produced in extremely high quantities, it does not attract high demand among collectors in circulated grades. However, like many coins, there are exceptions. If the coin has a mint error, such as an off-center strike, double die, clipped planchet, or missing clad layer, it could be worth significantly more. Even in poor condition, error coins are sought after because of their rarity and uniqueness. Another interesting aspect of the 1967 dime is its historical context. During the mid-1960s, the United States faced a coin shortage due to rising silver prices and public hoarding of older silver coins. The transition to clad coinage was a major shift in U.S. monetary policy, and coins like the 1967 dime represent this important change. They are part of a broader story about economics, resource management, and the evolving needs of a growing economy. The design of the 1967 Roosevelt dime remains consistent with other issues in the series. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, whose initials, JS, can be found near the base of the neck. The reverse displays a central torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Around the design are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 dime. Even in worn condition, these design elements are usually still recognizable, though lacking sharpness. For beginner collectors, a 1967 Roosevelt dime in bad condition can still serve as a useful educational tool. It helps illustrate how coins wear over time, how grading works, and how to identify key features despite heavy circulation. It also provides an entry point into understanding broader numismatic concepts, such as minting processes, historical context, and value determination. Proper storage is always recommended, even for coins of low value. Keeping the coin in a dry environment, away from moisture and harsh chemicals, can prevent further deterioration. While cleaning might seem like a good idea, it is generally discouraged because it can damage the coin's surface and reduce any potential collector interest. In conclusion, the 1967 Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a common and low-value coin in terms of monetary worth, typically valued at just its face value. However, its historical significance, connection to Franklin D. Roosevelt, and role in the transition from silver to clad coinage make it an interesting and meaningful piece of American history. Whether used as a learning tool or kept as part of a collection, even a worn 1967 dime has a story to tell, one that reflects both the past and the everyday use of currency in modern society. Please like and subscribe to my channel.